Hey YouTube, this is a Squier Bronco bass, which is a short scale fender bass. I'm doing a wee comparison here. This here is a 1970, I can't remember, 8, the same age as me, Fender Musicmaster bass, which is the same shape, and this is a Squier Mikey bass, which I will read the number of. I can't remember when it came out, it was 2012. Whatever it is, it's a Jaguar, no, it's a Mustang even, which is also the same shape. Just doing a wee comparison of them. I like this shape. It's like Fender's sort of third, you get your P bass, your jazz bass, and this one is the sort of three main Fender shapes as far as I'm concerned. This is a, I don't have a tape to it, I think they're 32-inch scale. In fact, I think they're 30-inch. I do have a tape actually. Great idea making these things neon coloured. I think they're 30-inch. Well, maybe they might be 30.5-inch scale. So this is the Bronco, which are quite cheap to buy new, but they're dead difficult to get second hand. It took me ages to find one, because I think it's just because they're really good. It's just it's a quality because it's so early. I mean, I think these things came out in the 60s, and it's one of those things that they designed it, and Leo Fender was really good at the start of just making things that just worked, and it does work. I think there's a guitar called the Duosonic, which is a guitar which is this shape, so it's kind of like not quite stratty, but it's getting there. So this one is IC05, made in Indonesia, so it's like 2005. Come up for 8 years old. It's got a 2-saddle bridge, so the strings aren't individually intonable. Not that I've noticed that difference. This is actually the same as what's on the Musicmaster. I'm not really worked out how we put them all together, but there you go. So this bridge here is the Musicmaster bridge. The Mustang has a slightly different bridge, which I'll show you in a minute. It has one single coil pickup, which, to be honest, I've not looked in this. I think it is just a 6-pole Strat pickup with a clear cover. The Musicmaster definitely is. It's got the same pickup. This one has a one-piece maple neck, which is fantastic. I really like the one-piece maple, is really my favourite. So it's got a skunk stripe in the back because that's how you put the truss rod in. It's not one of these guitars that you get. I do have one lying about. Some of them probably do, but you get like it's got a rosewood fingerboard and the skunk stripe, and it's like, why is the skunk stripe there? Just because looks, whereas this actually needs it so you can put the truss rod in. I've heard bad things about these tuners, but I've not got any problems with it, but that's maybe because this guitar's pretty much unused. They seem great. Not really much else to it. Bolt on neck. Very simple. I've wheeled out my old bass amp. This is a Stag 60 BA. And now, hopefully, seeing as I've got a mic, I'll actually be able to do. When I was doing videos before of basses, I was always having to play them really quietly because the mic and the camera just farts, whereas this one hopefully should take it. Tone off. I've not played bass enough at all in the last couple of years. The thing about the short scale basses is you want to put slightly thinner strings on it so that they work a bit better. You tend to have a bit of a problem with the E being too floppy, which on this one, because I think this might actually be the original strings it came on, so I think this does have slightly lower gauge strings on it. It doesn't have that problem. The Musicmaster does, because I wasn't aware when I put strings on it probably about 10 years ago that you want to put slightly thinner strings on, so it's a little bit farty. I'll show you that on the E string. colours. I think there's a white one and a red one as well. Never do slap it. I don't think the short scale really lends itself very well to your sort of modern sounds. Mind you, saying that, I'm sure the flea bass, which came out a couple of years ago, which actually I quite fancy one of them as well. I think it's not really that different from this. It's got a circular scratch plate. As that as well. I think basically if you want to be playing sort of funk and modern stuff, you want active pickups and more pickups rather than one single coil strap. We'll move on then. So I've got I'm plugged through all my effects pedals, even though none of them are on, just so I can use the tuner. I'll just put that there. I shall get I bought this years ago for a very good price off my pal. This is a where's the camera? There. This is a 70s musicmaster bass. The serial number starts S8, which means 78 apparently. It's very heavy, and if you look at it compared to this one, see the scratch plate isn't quite the same shape. It's slightly different at the top. It's still got the same pickup. It's got exactly the same bridge. This one's very rusty though. And if you notice this one also has a thumb rest on it here, which is a standard feature in these things. You can buy these thumb rests from China, and they're something like £1 if you get even free delivery. If you really wanted to upgrade your Bronco to be a bit more like it. So this one is a significantly more expensive bass these days. I think the Musicmaster was I've heard various stories, but this is before the internet, so the last time I looked these things up. But apparently the Musicmaster were made by like apprentices. So this is a cheaper version of the Mustang bass, because the Mustang bass has a metal piece here, like a jazz bass does, and it's got a bigger bridge, and they had different pickups. The original Mustang bass had like a P bass pickup, which I don't have one just now. It's sort of two half pickups that are hum cancelling, single coils, and then the original Mustang bass had that. This has just got a strap pickup with a see-through cut with a plain cover on it, so you can't see the fact it's got 6 poles on it. Yeah, so this one's still in tune. Yeah. This one's got the fatter strings on it. This one actually balances slightly better because it's that much body heavier. It's also got the mojo thing, and see the way the headstock's gone, that kind of, it's not as obvious now as it used to be, but the headstock kind of went orange, whereas the back of the neck on this one's actually completely mint. I don't know, when my pal bought this, probably 20 years ago in Victor Morris, it was one of those guitars that someone had bought and never set up, so the neck was like this. The action was horrendous on it, and it sounded crap. So he got it set up. like big tuners like you get on the big fenders, but the stocks, would you call them, are much smaller. So like a normal P bass, there's a longer, do you call it a shaft there? So the actual bit, the turny bit on the ends sticks out another 10mm. So this is a little bit compressed. Oh, I've just noticed that I haven't actually, the string tree on that one, I've actually got the string going over the top of it. Oops. So it really shows you what difference the string tree makes. But it even looks like the same kind of string tree it's got. So it's basically, the Bronco is a musicmaster, apart from the scratch plate here is round rather than doing this. It's very rusty, that bridge. But these, I gig with this guitar a couple of times. So I used to play a P bass live, and one time it was an active P bass, which to be honest I didn't even know at the time, and one time it just stopped working, and that's because the battery had gone, but I didn't realise it took a battery, because it didn't have like a 9-volt battery packet on the back. It was like a circuit board with a watch battery in it inside the gubbins. I never realised, and it was all wrapped up in tape, so I never realised there was actually a battery in it, and I ended up having to use this, and it was totally usable. Turn the tone off. I feel very comfortable playing this bass because back in the day when I only had 2 basses, this was bass number 2, and I still used it. Quick guitars, I'm going to blow my nose. It's dripping. These have gone up in price a lot in the last few years because it's a Fender made in USA. Even says made in USA on the top of it. And I've kind of kept it to, my pal Wayne said, to validate my collection, because obviously I'm right into all the sort of Chinese guitars and stuff like that, and I don't like the idea of paying £1,000 for a guitar, because it's never, well, maybe worth it to some people, it's not worth it to me. Because I think this is probably not far short of £1,000 these days. This also came with its original sort of cardboard, very, very 60s, 70s looking case, which is pretty cool. That sticker of Paul McCartney playing was on it, and has been on it for 20 years as well. Cool. You'd be absolutely sick if you knew how much I paid for this. Back before the internet and all that. When I bought this, I just wished that it was a P bass, and it's like, it's totally grown on me. The colour, that's the shape, the colour. See, if you look at it, it's actually green. It's very dark, and I think it's covered in sort of Bakelite stuff or something like that. It's a bit mental. Right, so if I move on, I shall move on to the Squire. So this is a Mustang bass. This is, it's 2013. So when was it My Chemical Romance? Me and my pal went to see My Chemical Romance in Edinburgh when they just done their album, the one with the spider in the front. It's called Danger Days, which I really liked. I'm pretty annoyed they never actually did anything else after that. Really, they played, was it the Reading Festival or something like that on TV, and they had Brian May on for the last couple of songs, and it was absolutely brilliant. And then something about their drummer they had to sack their drummer because their drummer released tapes of something behind, you know, ripping off the band, and they all fell out, and then they basically never did anything after that, which is a shame because that album was absolutely brilliant. I don't think it did very well, but it was brilliant. Right, so still in tune. Wow, basses are great, you just don't go out of tune. Yep, so this one is a Mustang, and you can see it's got the slightly longer tuners, like normal Fender tuners. It's got the Mikey signature in the back. It's super sparkle flake, thick sparkle flake, I believe the silver it's called. You can see it's got the Mustang bridge, which is a bit more upgraded. It's bigger, and it's got 4 saddles, so you can you can intonate all the strings individually. It's also got like a jazz bass metal plate on it, and a humbucker. This is another one. This is one of these ones. It's got a rosewood fretboard, but it's still got a skunk stripe, which is pointless, but it's got it anyway. As I was saying, when I went to see My Chemical Romance in Edinburgh, they came out, and Mikey Way, the bass player, came out with this bass, which I think was the first time we'd ever played it, because the first thing he did when he came out, his brother was like, yeah, check Mikey's new bass. And me and my pal were like, wow, it's a musicmaster, that's cool, because it was him that actually sold me the musicmaster like 10 years before that. And he eventually, I remember playing one of these in Merchant City in Glasgow and thinking it was absolutely brilliant, but I didn't have any money at the time. And then I went back a couple of months later, and it was gone, and you couldn't find him anywhere. And eventually my pal tracked him down, and he bought it brand spanking new, but it was in a shop in Germany, so it had to be transported back from Germany to here. And I actually did a video. It's one of my biggest hits on YouTube, because it's a video of guitars people actually have rather than obscure stuff. And then just 6 months ago, he's like, to sell some. He's having a kid now. He's like, to sell some basses for me. One of them was this, and it was just like, I can't sell that, because I actually tried to buy one myself, and I got it, and it was all dented, hundreds of bashes over it, and it's the guy like on YouTube, on eBay. I was like, you said mint condition, and it's covered in bashes. The guy's like, didn't have any bashes on it. How can it have bashes on it? My son never took it out of the house. And it's like, well, it doesn't matter where you take it out of the house. You know, if you're buying your first bass, you obviously walk into door frames and stuff like that. That's what happened to it, and it was just it was a bad vibe thing. So I had to send that back. I never actually got another one. So this is the one that my pal bought. And as soon as it came in, I was like, look, I'll just buy it off you. So I ended up just buying it myself. So this has got a humbucker, but apart from that, it's pretty much the same. Is that making noise now, have you? What I just noticed there was this is through strung, like the way a Telecaster is, rather than being top loaded. I don't know if there is an option. There isn't. It doesn't have an option to top load it. So that would be one of the original upgrades or downgrades. I think the Jaguar Mustang, I was getting too mixed up. I think the Mustang might have actually been before the Musicmaster by a couple of years, and the Mustang was the third Fender bass, and then they brought out the cheaper version, which was simpler because it didn't have the metal plate on it, and it had a cheaper bridge, and it didn't have the fancy pickup, although this one doesn't have the right pickup anyway. This has got a humbucker in it. And the competition stripe is so cool, but it doesn't go all the way around, which I was a little bit disappointed with the first time I saw it, because if I was going to do that, I would make the stripe go right round the back. Actually, what I did was I got some white tape, and I was going to put the competition stripe on this, and I did it, and it didn't look very good. It was like, oh, I don't think I had, did I have this at the time? I think this was in storage, so I couldn't actually get the angle right, and I thought maybe the white competition stripe would look cool, but I decided I didn't like it and took it back off again. I'll turn the tone off. I have to say that I think the humbucker pickup actually does get a bit more welly, but that's because I'm playing through a proper bass amp. Normally when I've been playing here, I've just been playing through a guitar amp, and I think the humbucker just is overloads a guitar amp a little bit. So if you're, I think maybe that's one of the reasons why the Bronco and stuff have like a guitar pickup in it. It's just a lower output, which means, and it's not quite as, doesn't have as much low end, which means that you can play through a guitar amp and it sounds great, whereas I think this is a little bit chunkier. I've been talking for 20 minutes, so if I do a wee bit of a run, I'll just run through them all in order. So, Mustang, I have to keep checking to see if it's Mustang. 2013 Squire Mustang, Mikey way. Quick changing. Go for the bronco. Yes, it's lighter. It's actually a little bit lower down. The strap's not as long on this one. So there you go. So I wouldn't actually say that it was a lower. The humbucker had a lower output, a higher output. So I prefer the neck on this one, the maple neck. I just prefer maple necks to start with. In fact, it's a one piece, makes it that little bit cheesier, better. Now I'll move on to my original one, which is the 78 Musicmaster, which I have to keep because it's the same, born the same year as I was, I suppose. Right, so this one has a gloss neck, which I prefer to the satin field neck, which is on the both of them, which I haven't mentioned up until this point. I reckon this one probably does sound slightly better. It's probably worth 3 or 4 times as much money. through the three of these, I think, oh, this is the best one. But to be honest, they're all so similar feeling. I'm just getting, I think because this is the longest I've played the bass in years, I'm getting more used to remembering how to play the bass maybe. These are all damn good. This one feels newer because it is. Ooh. Well, this is definitely the coolest looking one. As well. Basically I'm going to turn this video off after I played this for a couple of minutes, but I'm going to end up playing the three of these all day. Actually I was doing this video because I was going to sell this one, I think, just because I don't know if I can really justify having three of the same bass when they're all so similar. That's a much more twanky. The same thing. There's very little to it. I prefer the neck on this one because it's got the maple. I prefer the fact that it's gloss on the fender one. I actually would say that that's not the best design. See the way you see this on a lot of cheap copies of P basses are used to. See the way because it's got the massive string posts on it. This string's not going straight over the nut. It's kind of going at a funny angle. So I don't like that. In fact, no, that one doesn't have it. That goes in a straight line. So this one has a slightly bigger head on it, or whatever it is they've done differently. This one doesn't have it either, it goes in a straight line. I can maybe put that back in below there and tune it, might make a difference to something. Don't think so, I didn't notice that there'd be anything wrong. Okay, didn't make any difference. Yeah, so basically these are three of exactly the same bass. There's a sod all difference. This one doesn't, they've kind of, I think maybe intentionally made it look a little bit shitter. It's just with the white scratch plate maybe doesn't cut it as well. But I would definitely have the maple neck of this one. I would have the fact that this one's glossy, and I would have the fact that this one is from the 70s and made in America just because that's cool. and I would most definitely have it in this colour because I'm with the competition stripe, because the sparkle is totally cool as. I don't know if you're going to be able to get just how sparkly it is, but that is lovely. Yeah, and pickup wise, I actually bought a real humbucker to put in this, but it doesn't need it. I don't want to be putting something in that doesn't have to be there. I mean, that's totally usable and fine. But it's kind of what this bass is. So my advice is, if you're going to buy one of these basses, then just buy the one. They're all. There's not really any different. It just shows you how much there is in the design that you got right first time. It doesn't really matter where it's made in. Well, this one's Indonesia. This one is also Indonesia, but a few years later. Slightly different shaped head on it, I would have said, as well. And then this one's American. But all three of them awesome. What a completely pointless video. Rock and roll.